everybody. It's the Ordinary Joe Show, and I'm super, super excited here to have a Winnipeg legend in the room. And if he doesn't know that he's a legend yet, you will know soon. You are a legend pretty soon, I think. Paul Bernardin is in with me in the Little Joe studio today, and Paul is embarking on a really cool project that I think is going to inspire many, many people on many, many levels for a long time to come. And I know, like, even just hearing a little bit that I've heard has inspired me greatly. I can't tell you, but we have lots to talk about. Yeah, for sure. So what I'm gonna do with my fans here, my big fans, I think I have about 50.
Okay. All right.
Most of them are friends and family and people I've just kind of canoodled into, watching me. Some
Mhm.
of them I probably had to pay. Yeah.
Okay.
So I have to tell this story because I think this is a kind of a testament to how your story is really resonating with people. I was at Safe and Tell Mall it's probably a month or two ago now. I can't remember. In the Tim Hortons line. And I love Tim's. I love talking to people. I love buying people coffee. And there was this lady standing behind me in the Tim Hortons line, and she was wearing a City Park Runners t-shirt. So shout out to the City Park Runners and Juno and everybody, the staff there. She was wearing this t-shirt there. And so I was like, hey, yeah, City Park Runners. And so we got chatting and just, shooting the breeze about running and what running group she was with. And Juno, his name came up and how amazing Juno is. And I said, yeah, he was on my podcast. And she said, oh, you have a podcast? Well, you have to interview this guy. He's running every street in Winnipeg, which is amazing. And so Paul is here to talk about his project of running every street in Winnipeg. So welcome, Paul. You're amazing. Yeah, I tell you,
Thank
I'm
you.
so thrilled to have you here. So what I think we'll do for starters is, Paul, do you want to tell our group here what is the name of your project and what's it all about? What are you doing here?
Well, the name of the project is Winnipeg Street Run 5000K, as it says on my
I
T-shirt,
love it.
and it's a project that I've decided to undertake to give back because some time ago I did have a heart attack, and St. Boniface Hospital fixed me up. And I've been running for 15 years since then and clocked about 10,000 miles. So this is where I've come up with the idea of this is a skill that I have that I can use to pay back. And so the city of Winnipeg has 4,800 streets approximately, and continuously growing if you look at the construction that's going on. I don't know if I'll keep up with the pace of development when I get 3 years down the road from now when I expect to finish this project, but we'll soon find out, I guess.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, so you started running and so we were talking about before the show about how this really started to take off at about May. So talk to me about, like, so you're running, you've done a ton of half marathons, a ton of full marathons. So how did the idea come to you? I think I'll run every street, and when did that get started?
Well, yes, that's uh, when I started running, I started to. I mean, I always had to have a run schedule signed up for a run somewhere in the future to keep the motivation going. So I kept signing up for half marathons, full marathons, and my goal was to run a half in every state and a full in every province. And then I ran a full in Chicago, and I saw the medal for doing the 6 world majors marathons. So that's also my goal now too, of which I'll run New York in 2 weeks from today. And where was I going with this?
Just getting the idea. So you've run a ton of marathons and you needed a
Yes,
goal.
yes. So with that amount of running behind me, when COVID hit, I was running the streets of my neighborhood over and over and over again because you couldn't gather, you couldn't run a bunch of people together. So I was running by myself, and I got tired of running down the same streets all the time. And I had dreamt up, what if I run all the streets
I
of
love it.
Winnipeg? And then what if I turn it into a fundraiser? I've always dreamt of finding a way to pay back for the health care I received, and this would be the way to do it. And so slowly over a period of about a year, I was telling the odd person here and there and see what their reaction would be, because I was starting to think myself that I was a little bit half crazy. And but everybody was extremely supportive. So
Yeah.
so the idea took off, and I started to do the run. I was trying to plan the whole fundraising thing, and it was just so nerve-wracking and stressful that I just started to run. I figured I'll start to run, and then maybe other things will start to fall into place. And so one day I was out running, and I did run into this wonderful lady that was planting flowers, and I had a little chat with her about it. And she was just super excited about what I was doing and wanted to know more. And so we chatted a while, and it was in a condo development, house development, condos. And so I did another loop in that development. And on my way out, uh, there was some roofers up on the house, and they all stopped working, and they started clapping
I
and
love
cheering
it.
me on. And I stopped and looked at them, and they said, "We overheard your conversation. You're running all the streets in Winnipeg. Way to go." So I went home and I wrote my about page, and here I am.
That is super. That is such a great story. When you know that the roofers are listening to you, someone above
Yeah,
is listening.
yeah, I would love to find them again.
Yeah, exactly. And did you keep, like, has that lady kind of followed your journey ever since then?
uh, I had no plan at the time, but I went back. I went back to say hello about 3 weeks
Oh,
ago,
good.
to let her know that it finally got
I
launched.
love it.
And yeah, so it was very emotional for both of us. She had a tear in her eye.
Oh,
Yeah, she
yeah.
was quite impressed. So
Yeah, that
yeah.
is a very big deal on so many levels. Like there's layers and layers of how big a deal all of this is. And so you are raising money for St. Boniface Hospital,
St. Boniface Hospital Cardiac Care.
the cardiac care.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Which is really powerful because, like you and I talked about, like I don't think there's anybody on the planet who hasn't been impacted by a heart condition or stroke or cardiac issues. Something we've all been
Hmm.
impacted. You
Yes,
know.
and I hear a lot of it everywhere that I run. I hear a lot of that.
Yeah,
It's my dad, my uncle.
yeah,
It's everybody's been there. It seems.
yeah. We've all been there, and if we haven't been there, it won't be long. We're gonna be there because it's such a huge problem in our life,
Right,
for
right.
sure.
Yeah, yeah. So I often say, people can support my run by, for me, it's I want to pay back for what I received. For others, you may want to pay forward because you just might end up there one day, and you want to make sure that healthcare system is there.
Yeah,
And then the third option, of course, is I'm into running now. I was a smoker before, so it's a healthy lifestyle, and keep the stress off the healthcare system by living a healthy lifestyle.
exactly. So many good things are going to come out of this project. And like you say, if it's going to take you 3 years, think of 3 years of and beyond of so many good things. Like you're raising money for the hospital, that unit, which is huge. The people working in healthcare see what you're doing, and they're like, wow, this guy cares about us.
Mhm.
These people are recognizing the work that we do and appreciate it, and that's a big boost.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And people in general are seeing, oh, this is the power that I have to make a difference. And like you say, like getting that inspiration to start leading a healthier life, that it can be done.
Right.
Yeah,
Right. For
yeah.
sure.
So many good
Yeah.
things. I think that you're giving a lot of people different types of hope, I
Hmm.
think. Yeah,
Yeah. Well,
yeah,
that's kind of one of the goals, I guess.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. For
exactly.
sure.
Yeah. And so you've talked to me, and I think it's like you had said that you've started out a little bit shy, and this is taking off, and you're talking to a lot more people, and so that's been quite a journey
Right.
too, hey?
Yes. I will be a totally different person at the end of this journey. I don't know. I don't know who I'll be by then, but
Yeah,
yeah, it's you know maybe get into volunteering or something after. I think my big running days will be over by the time I get this done. So
I don't know. You never know, though.
yeah, you never
You
know,
never
but
know, right?
I will be 70. You know,
You don't look it.
so,
No, no, you look fantastic. That's for
you know,
sure. Yeah. So let's talk about. We have a lot to talk about. So I'm gonna try not to jump around too much, but I was saying to Paul earlier that I want to go back to the beginning, because I think, like, we might look at you and think, oh, well, you're running all these marathons, half marathons. I can't do that. Or I've just had a big health incident and I'm terrified because I think, wow, my life's over. Is my quality of life going to be in the toilet right now? So let's go back to your journey, because I think everybody needs to hear, like, where you were, how it got started.
okay. Well, back in 2006, I went on a trek to Everest Base Camp, and prior to doing that, I had quit smoking for a year, and I had done a lot of hiking in Riding Mountain Park with a 50-pound backpack on my back. And so I thought I was in great shape to go and do this trek to Everest. And so, so 2006, April it was, and head off, fly to Kathmandu, and from there we flew again to a very small settlement in the mountains at 8,000 feet altitude, I believe it is. It's called Lukla, and that's where the trek began. And so we started going, and it wasn't long after we got up there that I would, as soon as we'd be doing any kind of ascent, I would feel some tightness in my jaw, and I don't know, we just all thought it was altitude related, and sometimes our guide would carry my pack for me, and that would feel better, take some weight off, and so we just kept going that way, and we at about the 10th day into the trek, we were at 15,000 feet altitude, and I had written I wrote in my log on the April 10th that day at lunchtime, for some reason, I have a sore arm, a sore jaw, and a sore chest.
Oh.
And we just all thought it was altitude related, and we kept going. And we that was 15,000 feet. Well, we continued up to Everest Base Camp is 17,300 feet, and we were summiting a Mount Kala Patar, which is right next to Everest Base Camp, and then you have Mount Everest further. It's a beautiful, beautiful view because you see down to Everest Base Camp and Mount Everest. But we're climbing Kala Patar, and literally, I would take a step, and it was like a sledgehammer hit me in the face. The pain was just so intense, and I would just sit, and it would be like seconds. I don't know how many. It feels like 5 seconds. I don't know between, but the pain would subside, and I would take my next step, and same thing again. Another blow to the face. It's like my head was going to blow up. And at some point, my guide kept encouraging me, and you can do this, you can do this. All my comrades from this group, they had been to the top, they were on their way down already, and maybe only 200 feet altitude to go, and all of a sudden this huge wind came up, and it just seemed effortless. I just was watching where to put my feet to get the rest of the way up, and where to hide once I got there, because I didn't want to just go over to over the other side, whatever. Yeah. So anyway, and from there, pictures of me, sitting like this at the top, and I just remember, like, it's just so vivid in my mind, the whole experience when I look at that picture. And it's we went back down to where we were camping for that night, and we were doing a training session on using a hyperbaric chamber, which is hyperbaric chamber, I guess it's called, and I volunteered to be the one. And so put me in this thing, and they pump it up build up the pressure to bring me down 5,000 feet, and it felt really good in there. Like, but and then the following days when we went back to Everest Base Camp, and so there I had a bit of pain again going there. Once we got to Everest Base Camp, everybody kind of like were checking things out, but I just sat down and just rested. I was just done for, actually. And then we started our descent to go back, and everything was fine from there on in. Like, I didn't feel any more pain. I got back to Winnipeg. I remember going to the gym one day, and I thought I'll do laps around the gym, and I couldn't because I'd get this jaw pain. And I still clueless as to what was going on. And then it was Friday of the May long weekend. I went to the bar that evening. I had a drink, and I hadn't smoked in a year, but I bummed a smoke off somebody. And I took one puff, and that's when I had the heart attack. And like everything just went south from there.
Really?
And then settled out, and I thought, well, I may as well go home now because I'm not having another drink. I'm, whatever. So I did go home, and when I got home, that's when I got the telltale sign, the belt tightening around the chest, and the sore arm, and the jaw, and everything going wrong.
Yeah.
And that's when I realized that this is what my problem's been all along.
Yeah.
So I called 911, and it took no time at all. That ambulance was there. I just thought they were like super fast to get there. And they took me into St. Boniface Hospital. And the next day, the Saturday, they got me settled in there, whatever. And if I remember correctly, it's on the Saturday that they did the angiogram. They said they were going to check me out and see what I needed, and they would likely do the work on the Tuesday following the long weekend.
Yeah.
But so during the angiogram, they told me, "Sir, you have a very ugly heart, and we cannot wait till Tuesday. We have to do something with you right away." So on Sunday, they did the angioplasty and put in the stent, and so here I am today.
Yeah. Yeah. That's amazing. And did you feel better after the angioplasty and stent?
I did for some time, and then things started to go south again. Like, this was in 2006, and then things started to go south. They had told me they had hoped they could do more at the time that they put that stent in, but they were hoping that with all the collateral circulation that I had developed in my heart, that I would be okay. But things went downhill for the next, well, it was good for maybe 6 months, and then it started to go downhill again.
Yeah.
And by January 2008, they had me in, and they put 2 more stents in.
Oh, okay.
And so that was January 2008, 2 more stents, and Father's Day 2008, I ran the half marathon.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah. So were you like a runner, like a regular runner before that, or did you pick that up?
No, it was all new to me. All I could ever remember about running is that I'd get stitches, and I just hated it, like the sore side, from running, and as a kid, and I always hated it. So, but after this, I started running. I was out in the country in Dauphin area, and I would run a hydropole, walk a hydropole, and that's how I got started.
And so were you thinking, I gotta buckle up here and get my health on track?
That's right. I was running angry. I was for quite some time.
Really?
I can't really put a time frame on it, but I was running angry. I was just so mad. And then at some point I started to look around me, and I'm thinking, look, you're running. Like, look at the people around you. Look at the people that are so much worse off. And I started to feel fortunate that I had a heart attack.
Yeah. Yeah.
At one point, because you start to think, at least I recovered.
That's right.
And other people aren't getting the same chance.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so further down the road, like I always had dreams of doing something to pay back.
Yeah.
And further down, like in the last maybe 3 to 5 years have gone by since I lost two close friends
Okay.
who didn't have a second chance
Yeah.
from a heart attack.
Yeah.
They both died instantly.
Wow.
So,
Yeah.
and, my age and younger. So that's another thing that really compelled me to figure out how I was going to do something to pay it back. Because I got a second chance.
Yes.
And these other people didn't.
That's right.
So I felt that I had to do something to pay back.
Yeah, let's take that second chance and do something with it.
That's right.
Yeah, I really love that. And what I love is the fact that, like, I know a lot of people who have had things happen like what has happened to you, and it's easy to think, it's easy to be just live in that world of fear, and this is what my life's going to be, and my life's going to suck. But you took that and you did something with it. You did something about it, and you worked through that anger.
Right.
Yeah, and it became something really positive, to the point where you could feel grateful for that little wake up call.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah,
I feel grateful. I love the running. Some people think it's an obsession, but I do love it.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
It's to me, this whole project, like the whole fundraising side of it, is very daunting to me. It's but the running, I love it. I can go out and do that. I don't. It's it's not a big chore for me to do that part of it, but the other side of it, to do the fundraising and be out there in the public eye, I don't. That's tougher for me. That's the tough part.
Yeah. But in a sense, maybe that speaks to, like, you're doing this all for the right reasons too, right? Yeah, like you're not doing it for fame and all that stuff. You're doing it because you want to connect with people,
right,
and help out.
Yeah, I want to be able to. Well, and to show people that life isn't over because you've had a heart attack. Like, I mean, I thought my life was over when I had the heart attack. I thought, like, what am I going to do now? Sit on the couch the rest of my life? But,
that's a good point.
But,
were you afraid? Like, was there a sense of fear? Like, oh no, like, what if something happens or anything like that?
Well, I guess there always is, and there still is today. Like, I mean, sometimes I get a bit of anxiety. Anxiety manifests itself like a heart attack.
Yeah.
So, I get a little scared sometimes.
I get there. Yeah.
Like, and like, I mean, because I've had one, two. Is there another one in the future? I have no idea of that. Nobody really knows that answer.
You're right, but you're living your life.
Yeah, I'm living my life, and I'm not sitting on the couch.
Yeah. I really love that. And so, getting in shape, like, I have a confession here, and I've only confessed to a couple of people, but I'm starting to run again. And I didn't want to but God, it's like I've run a couple half marathons and one full, but that was like a billion years ago. Man, it's taken a long time. Mm-hmm. I'm so out of shape. It's brutal. Yeah, it's daunting, but I'll get there though. Yeah.
A full marathon's tough for me. Like, I'm just getting close to New York, so I'm wiped out right now. I'm just, like, very tired.
Yeah.
And now it's slowing down the pace for the next 2 weeks and be ready for the big run. But how some people go out there and run 100 miles or 150, I have no clue.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I wouldn't be able to. I think I do have 150K run in my life somewhere. Mm-hmm. That I will do. Mm-hmm. And I've already spoke to one gal that lives outside the city. She will probably come in and we'll map out a 50K street run next summer.
That's awesome.
And I can take that off my bucket list.
I love it. That's excellent. So you've done a bunch of half marathons and a bunch of full. Do you have a favorite? Do any stick out to you in your mind?
Oh, boy, that is so tough because they all got they all have their special thing about them,
Yeah.
like some, I've run Berlin, Hong Kong. Hong Kong was nice in the sense that it seemed to be half bridges and half tunnels,
Oh, wow. Yeah.
like it was kind of an amazing run. A lot of people though,
Yeah.
like between the full and the half marathon in Hong Kong, I think there was 70,000 runners. And when we joined up with the half marathon course again at mile whatever 17 or whatever it was like shoulder to shoulder. It was just congested.
That's insane.
It was just a lot of
Yeah.
people. Berlin was a beautiful course, very well organized race. But yeah, they all got their own special thing about them.
That makes sense.
I can't say that I've ever had a bad one.
Yeah.
Unless you call bad tripping over a pylon and having blood gushing from your legs and people telling you along the course, oh, you're the guy that tripped over the pylon.
Hey, you were memorable.
That happened in New Hampshire.
Yeah.
So
you're the guy. That's great. That's awesome. So what I'll do is, if we can post pictures of your map on my social media, and I can even embed them in the video here too, so people can have a look. But I think everybody would be really interested in like picking out your runs, and how does this all work for you now that you're in this? Like how are you doing this project?
Okay, well, it's first thing you do is you break the city up into small chunks so it doesn't look so daunting, I guess you would say.
Yeah.
So anyway, I live in Island Lakes, the very southern tip of Island Lakes. So if I'm going to do like this past while, if I'm doing a 16-mile run, I will travel out by Assiniboia Downs and run it over there, or in the northwest quadrant of the city. If I have a short run, I'll run it close to home, and or some medium length runs, I'll run them downtown, Polo Park area, things like that. It's if I drive far, I run far.
Yeah, for sure, eh?
Yeah.
And do you plan out the streets ahead of time, or do you just kind of wing it?
Yes, I use Map My Run to map out the runs, and then I use the Garmin, which connects me to Strava, which is the map that I post, the Strava map that I post on all my runs. Every day I post my map and all the pictures I've taken of the dogs and the mini libraries and gardens and houses and whatever.
I love it.
Whatever's been interesting on that day. And people seem to enjoy it. And
yeah.
So to add a little bit more variety to the posts, I'll soon be starting to post that trip to Everest that got me started on all this, and I'll probably take one day at a time and do one posting a month, and that'll take us to the end of the run in 2026. So 2026 will be the 20th anniversary of my heart attack.
Wow.
And as I mentioned earlier, I took one puff off a cigarette in that bar on that Friday of the May long weekend, 2006. I have never, ever had another craving for a cigarette.
Bet. Good job. Eh?
Yeah, it just shows you how something like that can happen. How people struggle with smoking and quitting, and they get these cravings and the whole bit. Well, I did it. I had quit for 7 years. I had quit for 3 years, so I know what that's all about.
Yeah.
But for some reason, having had that puff and the heart attack at the same time, it just flipped a switch up there, and I've never ever thought of having another cigarette in my life.
You listened to the messages.
Yeah,
for sure. So are you going to run, are you going to continue running through the winter, or are you going to take a break?
Yes, I'm going to slow it down 15 to 20 miles a week probably for the winter. Right now I'm 2 months ahead of schedule, but I've been training for New York and I cannot keep up this pace. It'd be good to slow down.
A good break will be good for your body. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So when you started, because you had mentioned you didn't really tell anybody right off the bat. When you started, you were doing it primarily alone, right?
Right.
Yeah. So do you have people come out and join you now? How's that
It's starting to happen a little bit more. It's been hard to because of the types of runs I've been doing, because of the training. I've been posting for the past while. I've been posting one run a week. I'll post my map ahead of time and
Oh,
invite
okay.
people to join me.
Yeah.
And yes, some people have been coming out
Yeah.
and running for that. And some people will send me a message that they want to know when I'm running by their house. So,
Oh, really?
so I've decided to try and accommodate those. I think that's the easiest way, because otherwise I'm going to forget who asked me this. And
Yeah.
so I've started doing that. And yeah, so it's quite interesting. One person in this area of the city, somewhere nearby, had asked me to do this, and so when I got there, she had a cardboard sign on her tree: "Welcome, Winnipeg Street Run 5,000K."
That's
You know?
right.
Yeah. So,
I love that.
yeah. So anyway, it was really good.
That's super. Yeah, that's
yeah.
super. Yeah, that's excellent. So what are the, like, I mean, are you finding, like, I mean, like, do you have any stories that, like, how people have kind of responded, or how this is impacting people?
Um, yeah, very often, like I talk to people about what I'm doing, and they can, like, people are just super excited about it, and most of them can relate. They've had somebody in their family, or they themselves have been in St. Boniface Hospital and spent time there, and they all agree with me at the type of care I received there. I just thought it was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Um, you know, it's like, it's just, I was amazed when I went in there. Like, well, I was amazed right from when the ambulance came to get me,
Yeah.
and how efficient and how fast everything just happened, and into the hospital, and how the whole team just moves into place, and they
Yeah.
take care of you. You know, there are some little moments that aren't so great, you know, like wheeling you. Okay, we're going through this door here now. You sign all these papers. There's a 5% chance you're not coming out. So,
Yeah.
so you know, that kind of stuff is a little bit scary, but no, it's just wonderful, the care that we get.
Yeah,
You
I
know?
really love that.
Yeah, and I really appreciate the fact that you don't have to worry about your finances or anything like that. You just, like I got all this, and it cost me nothing, and so I kind of felt like I had abused the healthcare system in a way,
Yeah.
because of the lifestyle that I led for all those years, and with all the smoking and everything like that.
Yeah.
You know, like, I mean, they tell you it's bad for you, but until you do it, and you live
Mhm.
the live the life that it brings you.
We're immortal until we get that lesson.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, which brings me to, like, your friend, like, when you came up with the $50,000 goal. I really think that's powerful.
Yeah, it's we were kind of wondering how much do I expect to raise on this run, and so it's the lead of our team that came up with the idea of $50,000, and I hadn't, you know, I kind of thought, wow, that's a lot of money. And then I started to think back. When I was in St. Boniface Hospital, they did give me a list of services rendered.
Yeah.
And told me if I had been in the States, this is what it would have cost me. And it was just over $50,000 at that time. So that all kind of connects there. And then you kind of break it down, and it's only a penny a meter. So
it's not a lot, really, that we can do.
Doable. So basically a penny a step, I guess, is what it works out for.
That's crazy.
Works out to, but so hopefully, and you know, I've been heard to say that I'm looking to raise $50,000 once, twice, maybe more.
Yeah,
you know,
for sure.
Like, depending who we can get on board, and what kind of donors we can get out there, or corporate donors, whatever.
That would be great.
Yeah.
Do you know of any, like, I mean, have any groups gone together to do a little, like, mini events to donate anything to you? Like, has anything like that happened at all?
Not at this point.
Yeah.
It's I think we have to pick up some momentum, you know, and cover a bit more ground. You know, I can envision myself, you know, in the wintertime, you know, to set up in the mall with a table, you know,
Yeah, I think there's probably
You know,
loads of things that you can
you know,
do.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's just have to find ways to get the word out there,
Hmm.
and yeah.
And you're selling T-shirts, right?
I'm selling
Yeah.
these T-shirts. Selling the T-shirts to help support the cost of the promotional costs that we have. I refuse to accept any money to pay like for my running shoes or things like that,
Yeah.
because this is all stuff that I would be using anyway.
Right.
So
Right.
I don't want to use any money for anything like that. So it's just to cover the promotional costs of the banner that we purchased, and oh, excuse me, and what else have we got there? You know, the food that we had at the launch, and the the printing of the T-shirts themselves.
Yeah.
Like, well, first of all, we needed T-shirts to be visible uh, out there, and then to pay for these T-shirts while we're selling other T-shirts, and
Yeah, sure.
you know,
Yeah,
so
yeah. So if people want to support and either get a T-shirt or make a donation, how can they do that?
it's okay. Well, that gets a little complicated.
Okay.
It's
We can update the
it's
post too. Like, I mean,
uh,
if things change.
I do have a QR code for a link tree. Um, that has all of this information
Okay.
on it,
Yeah.
so we can provide you with that.
Yep.
Um, and yeah, there's a link there for T-shirt purchase. There's a link for donations. There's a link for a CBC interview, Facebook page, um, Instagram. So it's all listed under this QR
Yeah,
tree.
excellent. Yeah, yeah. So I'll put those links in my social
Mhm.
media and in the
Yeah.
description for all of this stuff too.
The only place where the donations get complicated is right directly if you get into the St. Boniface Hospital Foundation website directly. They have my story, or my story in two places. Like, they have it as under the community fundraisers, and they also have it under patient stories. So either one of those locations, if you click on the link within my story, then the funds will go directly
Oh,
in
okay.
support of my run.
Yeah, excellent.
But if you click on the big donate button in the corner of the
Oh,
screen, or at the end, if you're using your phone, it usually shows up at the end of the page. But if you click on that link, well, then you can still do it, but you have to be more specific. You have to choose where you want your money to go, and
oh,
you have to identify under comments that you're wanting to support my run with it. So
yeah.
that's basically the
A
difference.
little bit trickier.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
click the links right in the story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I know some people have been confused as to whether they've done it the right way.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
You know, so
Yeah, that's awesome because again, we are all impacted in some way. There is no question.
mm-hmm.
So and I mean our hospitals, our healthcare staff, like they all need a boost.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that is really really important for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. What have you learned? Have you learned anything about life stuff or yourself along the way so far?
Oh,
That's a tough one.
this
No
is a
pressure.
very tough one.
Yeah.
Well, I think just life goes on, and put your best foot forward, and keep on going, and make life better for yourself, make life better for the people around you. Respect the people around you, because you never know what they're going through in life.
Yes.
Sometimes, like I had my challenges, and maybe at the point that I was going through some of these things with my heart, maybe I wasn't the most pleasant person to be around. And you have to remember that about other people out there. You just never know what kind of battle they're going
really
through.
Don't. Yeah, because we try to present, and I mean, like it's kind of like the Facebook, Instagram present. Oh, my life is a barrel of roses, but it might not be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so if somebody's a little bit grumpy or whatever,
yeah,
always be kind. So yeah, we were just talking about being kind to people, and
mm-hmm.
compassion and empathy. I think takes us a long way for sure.
Yeah, I think that I think I've been that way all my life. My children have told me that's the one thing that I taught them, was to be respectful of others. So,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so any advice for somebody who, for either one, somebody who's just had maybe a health incident that's, maybe rattled them a little bit, or somebody who even just wants to get started living a healthier life or even started running? Any wisdom?
Uh, it's it's one step at a time. Just listen to your body, and I would say that that is the biggest thing: is
Yeah.
just listen to your body
Yeah.
and how it feels. And because, like, I mean, as I spoke to you earlier about these new developments, I've really found out about intolerances
Yeah.
to lactose and sucrose now. Just kind of realized lately that I just cannot digest sugar the way other people do.
Yeah.
So that's become a problem for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So try and figure it out and weed it out and
Mhm.
and move on with your life.
Move on with your life, and that it can be done. Like, I mean, going from having a heart attack, you can start running or walking or anything movement, and you can get there.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's there's been I had a foot problem for 5 years, and that I really struggled with. There was a pain just to the side of my heel, and I saw everybody under the sun for that, and just couldn't seem to get it to go away, and came to the point where I was really suspecting that it was something with a nerve in my back, because the
Oh,
pain the
really?
pain was never ever exactly at the same spot. So you could tell that it wasn't. This can't be a tissue problem or muscle, whatever, because
Yeah.
it's always moving a little bit. Maybe it's a little half an inch over. So I kind of started to think that, and I was going to physio, and I'm sure physio helped and massage helped, but the weird thing is I went for a bike ride one day, and the next morning I had a sore back and a good foot. And my foot's been good ever since.
That's crazy. Yeah, go figure.
So it's
Yeah. Yeah.
so I was told at that time by the doctors, like, run better, don't run harder.
Ah,
you know
good advice.
like, maybe for me, because of that problem, just run better.
Run better.
And not as hard. So I I don't push myself as much as I used to.
Yeah.
I used to have a dream of qualifying for Boston. Well, I don't think I'll ever do that. It's just too hard for me.
Yeah.
My heart rate gets up there when I try and run at that level.
Okay. Yeah.
And I start to get worried about it a little bit. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you're doing amazing things, aside from Boston. So I think you're conquering the world.
So
yeah.
I'll get in Boston some other way.
For sure. Exactly.
I'll keep you updated.
Exactly. Well, and I was going to lead into that too. A couple things. So I am going to keep on with my running journey. I think it's going to take me a long time, but I will keep you posted.
Mhm.
And if we have runners out there in Winnipeg or Manitoba or anywhere who want to participate, do you have people posting their runs and with a little hashtag or anything?
Well, there's the run clubs that are always active all over the city. There's some great running clubs that you can join and get active with, and they usually have different runs, different paces and distances that people are running, and
right. Yeah. So
so there's a fit for everybody in those clubs.
Yeah, you don't have to be in Winnipeg to participate. I'm a shy runner too right now. I'm ridiculously slow. My kid walks faster than I run.
Okay.
So
Well,
I'm so I will cheer and dedicate all my runs to your project.
It sounds like you're primed for one of my runs. So a 3K, a 5K in your area.
Yeah.
One day soon.
Yeah, you could do it, and I'll walk behind you because I'm wildly, I'm slow and I'm very slow.
Oh, I do some slow runs too. It doesn't matter. I don't have to run them fast,
Yeah. So no, this will be good. And you, how about let's make a deal that you keep me posted, and then when you're closer to the end of it, let's do this again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I think, like you said, you're going to be a completely different person, and I think that there are going to be many stories and people being impacted by this all along the way. I think it's going to be a wild ride.
It's there's a this is a cute little thing that happened the other day. We have a on Facebook Messenger. We have a family group thing that all my family members are in on this chat, this one chat. So anyway, there's one of my great nephews out in Ontario that says, I think he's the next Terry Fox.
Yeah. That's a huge compliment.
So I kind of replied, I said, whoa, those are really big shoes to fill. I don't think we're going to go there. I said, but it's really neat of him to say that.
That's a huge compliment.
Exactly.
That's super.
So that was kind of neat.
Yeah. You are probably inspiring people, far more people than you will ever know, who you might never hear from or hear about, but there will be people, I guarantee you right now, there are people out there watching your journey and your story and are inspired and impacted, and it will change their lives. And you might never hear, or it might take years, but it's happening.
Yeah, well, that's my hope. So,
yeah, I think it's happening. For sure. I'm so glad I went to Tim Hortons in St. Patel Mall.
Yeah. There you go. That's awesome.
And cheers to Linda too. She was like, you got to meet this guy. You got to meet this guy. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's very passionate.
Yeah, she's a great person.
Yeah.
Very, very great person.
Yeah, so that's awesome. So before we close here, we will post the links for people to join your group, the Facebook group, if they
absolutely.
Want. To follow Paul's journey and donate, to get involved, get a t-shirt, and just spread the love. Get out there and get moving. Walk, run, do whatever you need to do, and let's make some magic for everybody, not just St. Boniface Hospital, but make some magic for yourself and get healthy.
Absolutely.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you very much for coming. This was a super fun, hey?
Yeah. Thanks for having me. It was fantastic.
And I always close most of my podcasts with do something kind for the world, buy somebody a coffee, now go for a walk or a run, right, and do something good for yourself.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yes,
You're
absolutely.
amazing. Yeah. See you later.
Okay, bye.
Bye.